Kevin Love, welcome back to the Miami Heat. Little breaking news, just as NBA free agency got started on Sunday afternoon, the veteran who opted out of his player option yesterday, which was $4 million, signs a 2-year deal with the Miami Heat on an $8 million plus, according to NBA insider Shams Charania. I'm Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. We're going to break down the signing, what it means for Miami and the rest of their free agency decisions, moves, because nothing else at the time of filming this has really occurred in free agency. We have still yet to see a player swap teams, at least as of filming. But initial thoughts, need to know them down below. Grade the re-signing of Kevin Love, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down below what you think about bringing Love back to the Heat on a 2-year, $8 million deal. I'm cool with it, and the reason why I am cool with Kevin Love staying with Miami is the fact that he has been one of the best veterans, one of the best leaders in this locker room over the past couple of seasons. Like, not often do you sign a player like Kevin Love off of the buyout market like Miami did and have the success that he's had. When you sign a buyout player, it usually means because they stink, no one wants them, and they're usually with the team at most for 3 or 4 months for the rest of the year before never coming back. Obviously not the case because Kevin Love re-signed on a 1+1 deal last offseason, and then he's back again. So after signing with Miami in the buyout, he has now had 2 at bare minimum length seasons with the Heat. He was obviously called upon quite a bit last season in Miami as the backup big because Thomas Bryant simply was not it. And Love had to play a lot of meaningful minutes, and he was able to do a lot of good things as the backup center to Bam. And he was actually having a really good season prior to that injury, and it feels like everything went wrong for Kevin then, where he missed like 3 weeks or so in, I think it was March, or yeah, it was, I think March or late February into March, where he missed 2 or 3 weeks, and he never really was the same coming back from that. But a team that desperately needs to have size alongside Bam Adebayo, but not sacrifice shooting, Love is one of the better players out there. And he was able to do a lot of good things on the glass last season for Miami, as well as space the floor. Like, sure, the raw shooting numbers for Kevin wasn't fantastic, but there were games where Kevin Love would just take over and hit like 2 or 3 threes and really change the outlook. 35% I feel like doesn't tell the whole story because there are players on Miami that shot better than 35% from 3, but if I had to tell you who had a bigger impact from beyond the arc for the Heat, I would probably lean Kevin Love. Like, even though Kevin misses some shots, like, they're never bad shots. And that's the part where I think I like Kevin the most, is his shot selection is very good. And when you're bringing him back, it allows you to, at least as the roster is currently constructed, have a rotation of 3 true big men with Miami, because you obviously drafted Kel'el Ware out of Indiana at 15, and assuming he's on this roster and not traded away or anything like that, instead of having just 2 bigs like you had last year in Bam and Kevin, where they played on the floor at some times together, but it wasn't really that big of a priority, and they were mostly just swapping each other in and out with a couple minutes overlapped. You now have 3 big men that you can rotate. So you can maybe have Kel'el and Bam play together. You can maybe have Kevin and Bam play together. You could have Kevin and Kel'el play together. Like, you could run a lot of different combinations with your 3 big men now, which only adds more size to Miami and allows you to be better defensively and on the glass. Like, that is something that I've been very pleased with. And shout out to producer Cullen for getting this puppy on the fly here. But when you thought about the 2 centers last season for the Heat in terms of Thomas Bryant and Kevin Love, there was really no debate on which center performed better. Like, Love was way better than Thomas Bryant was, right? And TB opting out of his contract for this upcoming season and player option, like, it made so much sense to bring Kevin back. And I actually want to read off this quote. And so, excuse me for looking down here, but it was a big time thing that Miami wanted to do for K-Love. Let me find the exact quote from Tim Reynolds of the AP. "Decision was never in doubt," source said. And that's kind of what I am taking away from this, right? Is like, when he originally opted out, Adrian Wojnarowski had the note that it was widely expected Love returns to Miami. There was a clear want from Miami's end and a clear end from Kevin Love's end to continue to merge and be together here. And I think Love likes in Miami. I think he likes his fit. I think Miami likes him in the locker room, his veteran presence, and him being able to work with Kel'el Ware on a daily basis will only be able to improve his fundamentals because Love has been one of the best big men in the past 10 or 12 seasons of the NBA. More to talk about here on the channel, but make sure you are subscribed. Daily coverage and any news that happens during free agency, as it did just open up, whether it be a re-signing, hell, even if Caleb Martin and Haywood Highsmith sign with a different team, we'll likely talk about it on the show. So hit that sub button and join us. We just passed 12K. Appreciate everyone who subbed to the channel. Let's continue the conversation here because as I'm still looking here, there are still no other signings that have happened, at least as I'm currently filming. So that's not going to be here for a while, but listen, the Heat do need to add more to this roster. They don't have a ton to do it, and I'm curious to see what the contract details of that Kevin Love deal will be. Obviously, it says right here, $8+ million, but will it save Miami money? Because when he opted out of his one-year deal for this upseason with $4 million, I assume that it would be to return to Miami on a slightly cheaper contract to save Miami $800,000 to $1 million on the cap because they are so close to that second apron. But that doesn't feel like they are that close to or feel like they're getting a little bit of a cheaper deal on this. So where does that leave Miami? Oh, and here's some upcoming interesting information, so I'm glad I keep on looking down at my phone. I know it's not the best product, guys, but I'm trying to make sure you guys are the most up-to-date. But Ira Winderman, who covers them for the Sentinel, said Kevin Love's new contract is 2 years, no option, per source. What does that mean? Well, that means Kevin Love's on this team for 2 seasons. So unlike last year where it was a 1+1 where 1 year player option no, Kevin Love is on the Heat for the next 2 seasons. So he'll be playing likely on 1 year $4 million, 1 year $4 million for the next 2 years. So Kevin Love is on this team for the next 2 seasons. And as we continue to progress through free agency, we're going to have to look at how Miami can improve this team. Like, there are still good free agents out there. I like Taurean Prince. I like Dennis Smith Jr. I'm not sure these guys will sign day one. They'll likely want to see if any seismic changes happen to rosters in the NBA, is like a Paul George to the Sixers, or like a Klay Thompson to the Mavs, Lakers. Like, those dominoes have to fall before the low-level guys decide to go where they go so they know where they can have a good role and stuff like that. I will say this for Miami's end of things. Like, if they don't make a big-time trade, like, maybe they do go out and sign someone cheap like a Dennis Smith Jr. Because if, hey, we're not going to go make a big-time trade, we're cool running it back, like, then they know what they have to do to add to this roster. So either way, we'll make sure you're updated on the latest surrounding the Miami Heat. But that's the news. Kevin Love re-signs with the Heat on a 2-year, $8 million deal. I like the veteran leadership he provides. I like the mentorship he can have on Kel'el Ware. And I'm not going to say your big man rotation is set. Like, I'm not ruling out Miami as another guy in that front court and center room. But Kel'el Ware as your 2, Bam as your starter, Kevin Love is your 3rd option, who can also give you some minutes as well, I think is a good 3-man group, so I'm happy about it. Let me know your thoughts on that center rotation down below. But make sure you are subscribed, because if the Heat make another move, we're going to make another video, so I'll see you then.